This is the story of how I went from filming videos that look like this to producing professional pieces of work. It all started back in the year 2017 with the common teenage dream of becoming a YouTuber. So that's what I did. Throughout my junior and senior year of high school, I vlogged. Hi vlog.
Hi.
When I first started, I was just shooting on my iPhone, which you can kind of tell, just look at how that looks. And I was editing everything right on the iMovie app. Here's a clip, let's see if you can even tell.
Whoa. See that guy getting blocked right there? That's actually me.
As high school came to an end, I knew that I wanted to keep making videos. But more importantly, I wanted to keep doing cross country and track at a higher level. So I signed to William Penn University, declared my major to be new media, which is an emphasis of video production, and that's where things really started lining up for me. Going into college, I knew I wanted to keep doing YouTube, but more importantly, I knew that I needed to focus on running. So I combined the two things, and that's where Runner's High started. Runner's High was my attempt at a branded channel based around me and my teammates and our experiences as college athletes. This period of my life is what I would call the highlight of my college experience. Unfortunately, sometime in my junior year, things took a little bit of a dark turn. I went through a situation that made me leave YouTube and ultimately the cross-country team, which is what started what I would call the lowest point, not of college, but of life for me. My biggest concern was what is happening this weekend. Luckily, there was a little bit of a balance between that and filmmaking now that I didn't have to run 70 miles every week. So I picked up a few things about filmmaking that I wouldn't have known if I would have stayed specifically just doing YouTube. It was at this time I decided I want to take filmmaking more seriously. I was also granted some really great opportunities that included meeting an Oscar winner, who at the time was a nominee, producing 2 separate segments for Fox Des Moines, and starring in a rom-com that was written and directed by one of my best friends, Noah Lindauer. I had also throughout college been watching the channel Fulltime Filmmaker, and much to my chagrin, I learned significantly more, if not everything, from watching Parker Walbeck and Jake Weisler making these videos than I did from actually going to filmmaking and video classes. So sometime in the second semester of my senior year, I started my company, Archetype Productions. Follow on Insta. I got my first client within the first week or two of starting my company. It was a photo shoot for a clothing retailer, something like that. It was a photo shoot though, which was great. It was significantly easier than I thought to get my first client. Despite the early success, I still hadn't really grasped the idea of needing to put in actual legitimate work into being a filmmaker. After graduating, I was still okay with going to the bars, doing whatever I wanted, whenever I wanted, until one day I wake up with a broken nose and a fully split open eyebrow. This was the most life-changing moment I have ever had up until that point. It opened my eyes to seeing beyond momentary joy. That's where I decided I'm going to start taking my filmmaking fully seriously, and this was the start of the path to full-time filmmaking. By that point, I started doing some research, aka watch Fulltime Filmmaker, figured out exactly what I needed to do. I needed to build a portfolio, invest in my skills, invest in my equipment, and make a name for myself. I had to learn how to fully dive in if I wanted to take a swim in the sweet pool of full-time filmmaking. Unfortunately, coming out of college, I really didn't have that great of a portfolio, so I had to do a method that I learned on the Fulltime Filmmaker channel called free to fee. Question: if you've never filmed a certain type of video, how would you go to a client and tell them you want to charge them to make that video? Answer is you can't. Free to fee is pretty simple. Every time you want to try to do a new type of video, do that first one for free. That way you can take it to future clients and show them that as a proof of concept so they know what they're getting and what the timetable is for them to be able to get that. And I gotta be honest, I put in serious hours on doing these free videos, but it ended up paying off because only 6 months after starting to take this seriously, I was finally able to get that post up on Instagram and say that I am officially a full-time filmmaker. And what's more, through investing within myself and staying true to this path, I was actually able to be connected with one of the guys who I learned most of my everything from. Shout out Jake for sliding in the DMs. And yeah, that's how I became a full-time filmmaker. That's my filmmaking story. If you want to see any of my videos, they're on the screen somewhere. If you're on your phone, maybe here, or maybe over here. Let me know if you have any questions.